What values did I learn during my time on campus? Um, so I came from a pretty good school in Edina High School as well, but the University of Minnesota just stepped it up, and the challenge had a lot of challenges first off, and I learned what actual hard work was. I thought AP classes at Edina High School were difficult, and I thought playing high school football and juggling those things were actually hard. But when I got to the University of Minnesota and was in the College of Science and Engineering, trying to be a mechanical engineer as well as playing Division I football, figured out that wasn't a thing that a lot of people did. So I figured out what failure was to begin with. I figured out what not getting 100% on the test was, not getting straight A's in every class and every assignment and knowing everything. I also figured out what hard work was. I had to find out how to turn that failure into success, and the only way to do that is to change your attitude and actually work hard. So how would the values that I learned at the University of Minnesota guide me to lead a successful life? I think it's very sensical. It makes sense that hard work has gotten me to this point, and it's been a different level of learning in each stage of my life. I learned it as a little kid. I learned it at Edina High School and middle school, and I learned it just was a more advanced lesson that I learned at the University of Minnesota. And what I've taken away from that is and brought into my career as a professional now is that I'm not going to know everything, and I'm going to have to work hard for those answers. I'm going to have to work hard for those customer relationships and building that customer satisfaction. I'm going to have to work hard as a parent, as a dad, to make my son the best son he can be as well as father. And I got to work hard to give back to my community and make a difference in everyone's life as University of Minnesota and the family and the foundation has done for me. So how my value of hard work and how hard work has allowed me to, I guess, excel or make transitions in my career has been very apparent. I started off as an intern in January of 2017, and I was just told to be a sponge, just learn as much as I can, and so I did as much research as possible as an intern and was grateful enough to get a full-time offer in the coming spring of 2017. So from being a field engineer with the solar group, I was working hard under a project manager, project engineer, and word got around that I was good with people and the craft, and I love people. I don't know where they got that from. But and then I was able to transition into the Minneapolis group. I had a lot of travel requirements or restrictions, I should say, with my son, and I didn't want to be the typical field engineering position. But the director of operations and my supervisor, they let the Minneapolis group know that I was a hard worker and that I would be a good field engineer with the Minneapolis group as well. So the Annexstad Family Foundation, it changed my life pretty much. So there's a lot of scholarships that everyone can apply for and everyone can compete for. You can write a 23-page paper for, and nothing against those scholarships or people giving back to others that are less fortunate, but the Annexstad Family Foundation is something that you do not apply for. You cannot compete for. You don't fill out a 25-page paper, and you don't have to convince anyone of that. This is a foundation and a family who is dedicated to reaching out and to helping someone to accomplish their dreams and giving somebody else an opportunity. And it was I can say it's no effort on my part, but I was just living my life trying to do what I thought was best, and the family reached out and gave me a better opportunity. So that sense of community that is created is somebody's believing in you. You don't have to convince somebody. They are reaching out to you and then bringing you into that family, making you a part of that community. What the Annexstad Family Foundation has done for me is giving me a chance to go to college. As you know, I am only male in my family, only one to graduate college. Mom was a prostitute, never met my dad. Didn't have a family, didn't have money. Moved in with a retired couple in Edina. There was no way for me to go to school. There was no opportunities for me to pursue. I didn't have anything, but someone reaching out to me, trusting my character and trusting my hard work, gave me all the opportunity in the world, gave me a chance to put University of Minnesota College of Science of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering on my resume. Gave me a chance to play football at the only place I wanted to go to school, gave me a chance to bleed maroon and gold, gave me a chance to pursue anything that I wanted to pursue. The foundation, Annexstad Family Foundation, I'm not limited to what I want to do. They're just saying, I want to help you do whatever it is in your life you want to do. And so it's giving me every opportunity that I can ask for. Being in college, being at the University of Minnesota, it was a different cycle of life, and I feel like each cycle of life prepares you for different things, or it's the next step that you need to encounter to be better at life or to learn more. And what the University of Minnesota and my experience there taught me was how to, like I mentioned earlier, how to work hard. It showed me failures. It showed me, I learned what hard work was, and I learned what success was. And it's also showed me what 50,000 people looks like in a congested area on a beautiful campus. And it's showed me different people from all different backgrounds, not just from South Memphis, or I was raised, or North Minneapolis or Edina, but from Ghana, from Australia, and from everywhere. And I've learned different interests of people and how to communicate with people and how to read people and how to love people. But I've also learned how to guide people. I've learned the foundation of every relationship is to listen first and bring yourself down, or put yourself at the level of the people you're talking with, to remind them that you care about what they're saying. And when you genuinely do, you don't have to convince anyone. And loving others is a habit of mine, and caring about others is just who I am. So learning that at the University of Minnesota, experiencing failure, experiencing hard work and success, has just transitioned me into being a professional and learning how to communicate with everyone on my team, everyone in Mortensen, everyone on the floor I work with, learning how to communicate with customers and buyers and people that I want to work with, and develop relationships that last more than a contract, that lasts a lifetime. What did I learn in football? That I'm not good at everything. And no, I cannot tackle a 300-pound person running at 40 miles an hour. That would be insane. But I've also learned that football is just a way to encounter life and a way to experience life. It's another one of those lessons that you just learn. Just like college was a lesson, so was University of Minnesota football. You had to wake up at 4 a.m. to get there at 5 a.m. to work out. And after that 5 a.m. workout, you had to go to that 6:30 lift. And after that 6:30 lift, you had to go to that 8 a.m. physics class. And then you had to go to that chemistry class. And then you had to go to that calculus class. And what football taught me is that same thing, well, pretty similar to what the University of Minnesota taught me, is that there are a lot of people from different walks of life who are experiencing life, and you come together and you try to make each other successful. You push each other to the limits. you develop each other, you lead one another, and you're there for one another. You're just a family. So, if something's important to you, you're gonna do it regardless. I still, but I don't know if somebody said it before me, but I said a quote back in ninth grade, and it resonates to this day. I said, if you want to do something, you will. And if you don't, you will make an excuse. Like, I don't like doing leg day. If I wanted to do it, I would hit leg day. And it's the same with if you want to focus on going to class, if you want to focus on football, if you want to focus and develop relationships, if you want to do that homework assignment ahead of time. What I learned is if you want to do something, you can do it. And with hard work, that is obviously a key component in that. Focusing. You have to focus. You have to mentally prepare for whatever it is that you want to do, if it includes any level of difficulty. The easy things are easy things. Everyone can do them. Not everyone can do the difficult things. Time management is definitely important in whatever you want to do. Being a mechanical engineer as well as a Division I football player is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. It was a rigorous schedule and things that I learned in a level in a top engineering school and playing at a top Division I Big Ten football, it is difficult. So if you don't go in mentally prepared, physically prepared, committed, dedicated, with all your core values in line, it's kind of hard to be successful. My philosophy on failure is very complicated. What it is, I do not know, to be honest, but when you experience it, you know. It's a deep down feeling in your stomach that makes you believe that you have let someone down or let yourself down, or it's something that's just challenging that you haven't accomplished yet or mastered yet. It's getting a C- in physics was failure to me. And it was tough, but that failure, man, I'm gonna have to start this one over. I lived in a lot of different places growing up, different states, went to different schools, which had different reading programs, so my reading skills were not up to par. However, math doesn't change that much from school to school. You gotta add stuff, you gotta subtract stuff. Some of those things you can remember, multiplication tables that we all had to compete in. But I had the same dreams everyone else did, I think, as a young kid. Like, I wanted to be a fighter at one point. I wanted to be a lawyer because I'm great at arguing. But then my first year in Edina High School, I had one person who took me into that community with open arms. His name was Tom Balke. He's a type 2 diabetic. And there's a situation at my house where he had his first sleepover, and we were up. We were eating pizza, drinking Mountain Dew, playing Call of Duty, video games, and squeezing in a little bit of homework every once in a while, like everyone does. And just going to bed like normal. We weren't that big in ninth grade, so we could sleep in the same bed. And I woke up in the morning, we try to get up early and just repeat the same thing. And he wasn't waking up.
can't get my cortisone wet.
And I knew that I thought his blood sugar was too low. I had to get his checker, prick his finger, get his glucose level. And when I checked it, it didn't even have a reading. So it was either he was too low or too high. So I called his mom, got my mom, forced orange juice down his throat, and my best friend almost died in my arms. So I said I need to live the rest of my life to make sure people don't have to experience this. And I originally wanted to be a biomedical engineer. I had toured Medtronic. I had seen all the devices and things like that. But and then my journey to the University of Minnesota began. I got into the College of Science and Engineering at the U. And Coach Kill had reached out. To my high school coach, and he said, there's a guy with this story, this upbringing, I want him on this team. And so I knew I was going to do engineering at the University of Minnesota. And I just had to figure out how. Now that you mention it, I think people did. They were convinced I was smart. I don't know how. I must have been fooling everyone. Everyone knew I was good at math. That was it. And I tried really hard to be good at reading. I just tried, but it wasn't fun. I don't like reading. But I read to my son every night before he goes to bed. And I'm still bad at it. He doesn't know that yet. For those scholars coming after, just keep your values. If you are a hard worker and you're a lover of people and you persevere, or that's who you identify as, continue to identify as that. Hard work can get you through a lot. It can remind you of not stopping when you fail, or you hit a bump in the road, or you're trying to climb a mountain that you think is too high. It's a simple reminder that I am a hard worker and I'm gonna keep going regardless. If you love people, that is one of my passions. I love people unforgivingly. Or forgivingly or unforgivingly? That's tough. I love people unconditionally. And that is reminding me on how to keep an open mind in all aspects, whether it's argument or whether it's learning. When I'm in a learning situation, and it's like, just keep an open mind and just keep working hard. Remember where you come from, remember where you want to go, and everything else just falls into place and it's easy. I have a vision of giving back and different ways to give back. I'm actually on the stewardship committee here in the solar group at Mortensen, and we're just kicking off things, trying to get renewable energies into Minneapolis and reaching out to different organizations around Minneapolis to be involved in. But another thing that I've been very involved in, or want to be more involved in, is just helping anyone possible. There's a lot of people on our stewardship committee here in Solar Stewardship Committee at Mortensen, and they are very passionate about the things they're involved in. We have Alzheimer's, we have the biking, road restoration, as well as environmental restoration. And I'm the one in the group that says, I don't care, whatever it is, let's do it. And we can affect people in so many ways, in different areas and in different. I just want to give back as much as I can. My family has experienced Uh, One of my best friends committed suicide. So 2 years ago, U of M grad, and I want to be able to talk to people. My mom was a drug addict. She overdosed just over a month ago. I want to be able to help those people. My cousin was diagnosed with breast cancer at 32. I just want to help people as much as possible. My sister just got out of a homeless shelter less than a month ago. And there's so many people to help. There's so much helping that can be done. I'm just ready to get going. I have a lot of fears. One is of flying. Hate it. One is of failure. Hard work. And one is of someone I care about not knowing that I care about them, or to the extent I do. And so everyone has inspired me, to be honest. There's not one certain person, but there's those different cycles of life. Those are those different days of the year in my past, in my present, today, and in my future that are constant inspiration, because there's been times where, it's difficult to find meaning in life and what you want to do or what you're living for. And it's because I know I got 5 people in here at the moment who care about what I'm saying. I don't know why they care what I'm saying, but I know they care about me. And there's people who are believing in me and wanting me to do well, and who have accepted me for who I am, my pros, cons, strengths and weaknesses. And it's people that love me. And I gotta spread that love, because I wasn't always a lovable person.